you are all here is to hear John Chan. John has been working hard at putting this presentation together with the help of Rachel on 118 years of history at Chan's Fine Oriental restaurant and the whole history of Eggroll and jazz at Chan. So my friend, John Chan.
I'm here for Ann Conway, the director, doing a great job, 25 years. We're celebrating Chinese New Year, the year of the rabbit. And today, actually, is the last day of this celebration. It's a 15-day celebration. And I was born on the year of the rabbit. So after the show, we can do the bunny hop together, okay?
Hey everybody, my name is John from the Win Line Dance team. We welcome you all here today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the origin of line dance before we show you the performance. So let's get right into the story. Once upon a time, there was a mythical creature that wandered the mountains. This creature was known to be scary, fearful, and wreaked havoc on everything it stumbled upon. Eventually, this monster stumbled upon some villagers as they were just resting in their homes. It continued to terrorize them and scare them, and eventually they ran away. Even after they ran away, this monster continued to wreak havoc, to wander around and just destroy everything in his way. Eventually, the villagers had enough. They decided to fight back. And with this, they created their own creature. Line dance, they smacked pots and pans to scare away the monster. After successfully scaring away the monster, they celebrated in joy. And this created a new era of lion dance. And this, everybody, is what lion dance is today. Thank you, guys. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what you just saw and a little more details about the origin of lion dance. So as you can see at first, there was that very scary mythical creature, and in our culture, we believe that that is an evil spirit. That evil spirit brings bad fortune and just a lot of, bad mojo into our homes and into our lives. So back then, thousands and thousands of years ago, we created what you saw, the pots and the pans, and the red lion, which we consider a lion. Many people call it a dragon, but we do consider it a lion. And we created that to scare away those evil spirits. And every year around Lunar New Year, this is when these lions come back into life, when you see the drummer over there and the cymbalists start making a lot of noise, and the lion just dances and brings good fortune into our lives. That is the root of what lion dance is today, but it has also become more than that. Lion dance is now considered a sport to many of us because it's very acrobatic. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of, unnatural movements that you wouldn't see in a human, regular human day. We use this lion dance now to bring, once again, good fortune, prosperity and things into weddings, birthdays, lives, new businesses, and anything that just wants to have good fortune into their life or into the year. And like I said before, this comes every Lunar New Year, so around February, March of every year. And our team specifically, we really try to focus on that, good fortune aspect. And, we're here today because we want to also, bring a little bit of that good fortune that we believe in so much into our lives as well. And I also want to talk a little bit more about something that has to do with line dance as well. It's called the red envelope. The red envelope is now a sign of good fortune and prosperity as well. Back then, they would use lettuce and oranges. Lettuce because it was green and it represented money, and orange as well because orange was the currency back then, which was coins, and most of the oranges are gold, so that's what they used. Now we use red envelopes, and elders would put about $2, the lucky $2 bill inside, and hand it to anyone that's younger, any youth, and that was just like a sign of saying, we bless you this year and we want you to have a very good year. Okay? And one more thing as well with the red envelope. When we perform the lion dance, we walk around. There's always a segment where the lions walk around the crowd, and we hand out little red envelopes to the audience so that they can stick it into the mouth of the lion. And what that does is also a way of bringing good luck for yourself or good fortune for yourself. And this is something that our culture really stands by, and we believe in this a lot. And that is what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do for you today, to bring that good fortune. And hopefully you guys enjoy our performance. And thank you very much for having us.
So it's Gong Hei Fat Choi, meaning wish you prosperity. And my girlfriend Linda say, "Are you calling me fat?" I said, "No, Linda. I'm just I'm just wishing you prosperity. I hope you hit the Powerball." So I'm going to talk about the restaurant from 1905 to 2023 and beyond. This is a actual picture of the restaurant back in 1905. As you can see, the trolley used to run on Main Street, the horse and buggy of Rue de Rose, and next to the Bijou Theater to the right, it's a sign on the second floor, it say Chop Suey. That's where the restaurant, the Shanghai, was located back in 1905. And in 1938, the restaurant was had a fire. They relocated down to the first level and call it the new Shanghai restaurant. Appropriate. And I remember the new Shanghai restaurant when we bought it in 1965. It was long and narrow with high back green boots. It had jukeboxes in every booth. For 25 cents a quarter, you can play 3 plays for a quarter. So the red envelope you talk about is called Light C. This is my Light C. I gave one to my son and my grandson earlier this Chinese New Year, and they bow to me and say "Gong Hei Fa Choi." Chinese New Year is all about family and of course food. The Chan love to eat, and this is my brother Bill and his wife Gali at the wedding in Boston. We had 3 buses leaving from the back of the restaurant for our guests, so they don't have to drive home. And I thought it was 600 guests at the reception in Chinatown. But my sister-in-law, Gali, reminded me that it was more like 700. The China Pearl restaurant only holds 500 guests. You have to rent another restaurant across the street for the overflow. But if you ever get a chance to go to a Chinese wedding, it's really spectacular. You get like 10, 12 course meal, and each dish is served family style. Everybody help themselves. It's wonderful. My mother, Ethel, was we were having a Chinese New Year dinner party in Chinatown, and she loves to eat, and she's a very slow eater. And so we saw the cooks just coming out of the kitchen. We saw the smoke was building out of the kitchen, and we'd see firemen going to the kitchen. And the way they asked us to, if you can please wait outside until the grease fire is put out. But my mother said, "No, I'm not done eating yet. She didn't want to leave. This is a picture of Tommy Ock and his father, Charlie Sing Lee Goon, Goon Sing Lee, I think. And Charlie's the gentleman that started the restaurant in 1905. And Tommy and my father met back in 1946 after World War II, literally on a slow boat to China. The mission was to go back to the village of Canton to find a bride. That was the old Chinese custom. So Tommy married my mother's cousin, Janine, and came back to Woonsocket to run the family business. And my parents stayed in Hong Kong. He opened a business selling X-ray machine and air conditioning. So I have a 4th grade education in Chinese. In 1961, we moved to Astoria, Queens, in New York. I went to a grammar school at PS 122, and then PS 141, which is a junior high school where Tony Bennett attended. And when I met Tony at the Newport Jazz Festival, I mentioned that I went to PS 141. We had a good laugh. This is an ad, a scrapbook that a former head waitress gave me back in 1938 when the New Shanghai was reopened. As you can see, the hot turkey dinner was 75 cents, but it's all in French. Because Woonsocket was a predominantly French, population. This is my young Ben F. Chan, my dad. He have an electrical engineering degree from Illinois Institute of Technology. So he's an engineer by trade. They always worked in Chinese restaurant. He came over when he was 12 to Milwaukee, sponsored by his brother, Cam, as a son. That's a big age difference. So he worked himself through various Chinese restaurants and supported himself. So learned the trade and eventually opened his own Chinese restaurant in Woonsocket. This is their wedding in Hong Kong, 1947. And my brother, William, Bill, is a retired dentist. He was born in 1948. And my sister, Linda, she's the youngest one, was born in 1953. She lives in San Mateo, California. That's the hometown of the GOAT, Tom Brady. And my nephew, Eric, went to school with Brady, actually. This is the family back in Hong Kong. I was not very happy. I was a little guy in the middle. I want to sit on top where my sister's sitting. See how happy she is? Yeah. So we had a great upbringing in Hong Kong. My sports at that time was soccer and ping pong. And when I came to Astoria, I learned to play baseball, football, basketball. In the schoolyard, we used to play handball and stickball. Yeah, and I was a big Yankee fan at that time because during this early '60s, the New York Yankee was the World Series champion. We had Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Yogi Berra, and Whitey Ford on the mound. That was an amazing team. So this is probably in the 50s, the New Shanghai, in the Western Autos to the right. And I think the Bijou Theater probably gone by then. So that was on the left. This is 1965 when my family bought the restaurant from Tommy. And that's at the front desk of the restaurant. In the back, you can see they sell cigars and cigarettes at that time. This is a picture of the family when we were celebrating the Chinese New Year, which is in Woonsocket. I think I was in high school at that time. My father also was great humanitarian, a smart businessman, and he sponsored a lot of families from Hong Kong, relatives to the United States. And this is some of the family that we've sponsored. And that's They were cousin of ours. There was Julia on top, Michael, and Jeannie. Jeannie graduated from Brown, and Michael graduated from Yale, and Julia from Princeton. They did well. My dad passed away in 1980, and the procession went by the restaurant. Oh, this is me in college. This is 101. I put my marketing technique to work. I started a catering service called Number 2 Sun Catering Service with a big dragon on top of the van. Some of you remember the old dragon wagon, Autumn Fest. Autumn Fest. There you go. This is one of the early Autumn Fests. With a chance with one of the charter member of Autumn Fest that held on the Columbus Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the Monday was the parade. Yeah, we didn't have a booth. We didn't have a luckily it didn't rain. But 1999, I was honored to be the Grand Marshal of the Autumn Fest Parade. I was my friend Leon Guerra picked my son Jonathan and I up in his 1956 Morgan convertible. It was drizzling, but when we got up to the Soccer Plaza, the rain had stopped. My mother and the rest of the family was riding in George Rasta, Dustin Limo's white Rolls Royce. So yeah, it was very nice. Tony Bennett, PS 141. Yeah, Tony and I met at the first time was at Newport Jazz Festival. And the gentleman in the middle, remember him? Ron Della Chiesa. Uncle Ron, Mr. Music of America, the legendary radio voice on WGBH. And he's the one who coined the phrase Eggrolls jazz, live at Jan's. This is a doodle that my good friend Leon Redbone did of Mr. Tony Bennett. Also, there's a photograph of Leon and I back in our younger days in front of the restaurant on display on the table there. The gentleman on your left, yes. Do you recognize the man? That's the great Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy performed a chant back in 1988. He was celebrating his 70th birthday, and he had such a great time. That's the first year of the Mardi Gras. King James came to visit with the princess and the court, and Dizzy kneeled and kissed the ring of King James. In return, King James kneeled and kissed the ring of the royalty and the jazz. I give Dizzy the Chinese gentleman hat the night he performed and a chant t-shirt. I was hoping he would give me one of his trumpet, but he didn't. The following year, he was performing at the Bryan University for the alumni on a Sunday afternoon. On the way to the airport, he had to drive her to do a detour to Chance and walked in Dizzy, unannounced. I said, "Hey, Diz, what are you doing here, man?" He said, "Oh, I was in the neighborhood. I want some of that good Chinese food." You know, he remembered. He had a great time. This is Mayor Francis Langto of Woonsocket, big fan of Leon Redbone. He gave Leon the key to the city, proclamation, and called it, named it the Leon Redbone Day. And I gave him a key to my kitchen. Leon loves to cook. Yep, that's Leon on the left. This is a more recent picture of Leon. Was starting to shower outside, and he put on the little umbrella on top of his hat to cover himself. And Leon and I in our younger days. This is a picture of Leon that I took with my Polaroid camera. We were coming out of the South Shore Musical Circuit, and Leon got out of his vehicle to ask the officer how to get back to the hotel. I said, "Officer, cuff him to that pole." So Leon gave me that silly look. I got one shot off. That was the shot. This is a doodle by blues legend Taj Mahal. Remember Taj? He was a presenter to our friend Claudia Lanier, who was inducted to the Royal Music Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. And we all went back to the restaurant afterwards to have a big dinner party. Claudia Lanier was one of the premier back vocalists of all time. She sang with Ike and Tina Turner, and she also dated Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stone. And she inspired the song Brown Sugar. And she called me recently. She's gonna be coming through in August. She wanted to play chance. I said, great. She said, oh, maybe I'll give Mick a call. Maybe I'll come up with Keith to hang out with us. I said, oh yeah, why not? Yeah, never know. This is Claudia. To Chan, good noodles, good meat, goody goody, let's eat. Yeah. A lot of the young rock and blues artists has got the early start at Chan's. This is Samantha Fish. When Samantha played Chan's, we charge a cover charge, I think $12. I told Jerry Smith that night that, Jerry, you won't see that price again. She's big time now. This is Mike Zito. He's from Texas. Texas Blues are great. He's gonna be coming in, I think in April with Blood Brother, which is with Albert Castelia. This is an old schedule we had. 1986, when the room first opened, the Four Seasons Banquet Room. The Ritz was $7. Billy Nova and Guy Van Duzer for $5. And Makoto Ozoni, great jazz pianist from Japan. He was a student at Berkeley at that time for $8. This is a picture. We were scouting for the Farrelly brothers. The gentleman on the left is John Partington from Cumberland. Do you remember John? He was former police chief and first marshal for the feds that witness protection program, I believe. Chris Meyer, one of the producer, and gentleman to the right, that is Docky. Docky is the Dr. Farrelly. He's the father, the original Farrelly of Bobby and Peter Farrelly, and he's very witty. And his timing is always impeccable. He office was on Mendon Road in Cumberland, the corner where Hunter Drugstore used to be. And from his window, you can see the boys across the street on the stone wall. I think Peter Conway, remember those days. We were just hanging out, all the guys just smoking pot and drinking beer. And Doc, look out the window and shaking his head. Those boys gonna turn out to be nothing, to be bums. So he calls his good friend, Smokey Cerrone. Hey, Smokey, let's get Pete out of town. So Smokey got Pete into Kent prep school down in Connecticut. And when Pete got down there, he called back to his buddy saying, hey, you guys, you won't believe this. A pot down here is better than home. But look at this guy now. Pete, a couple of years ago, see the movie Green Book? Great movie. He won, captured 3 Golden Globes and 3 Oscars that year, 2019, I believe. The boys are doing well. Oh, This is a doodle that Cher did for me. And Doc and I had a scene with Cher, and we're down in South Beach shooting Stuff on You with Beck Kinnear and Matt Damon. And had a nice chat with Cher, and she was very gracious. That nice doodle for me. And Dumb and Dumber 2, Cher got a cameo. Yep. On the side of the Riptobus. And you turn the bus vertically, you can see half my face in there. You can see it? See my eyes, mustache? Yeah. Oh, this is the Keeping the Blues Alive Award that Chan received in Memphis, Tennessee. So the second guy from the right is named Arthur Polter. He's chairman of the nominating committee, lived in Springfield. So John, let's do another presentation when we get back to Woonsocket. I said, yeah, great idea. So my buddy Tab Benoit, the gentleman to the right, he's the Prince of the Cajun Blues from Homer, Louisiana. He was performing that night to a standing room audience. Bobby Sloan in the middle, making a funny face. My buddy Ray Harrison. The guy with the mouth open is James Woods. You know the actor? Jamie was there that night. And then our friend Carol, we were just goofing off, having a good time. We also have had a golf tournament for Tab called Voices of the Wetland, and he was very much into the conservation down on the wetland, down in the bayou. Now we're gonna go to tonight is the Grammy, and they're honoring my good friend Smokey Robinson tonight, and also from Rhode Island, the great Viola Davis in spoken word. This is audio that my friend Tim Labonte helped produce for consideration for the Grammy for spoken word. It's very powerful. Let's share this one with Viola. Thank you.
At the end of each school day, we had to get in line at the back door and wait until the final bell rang. The teacher would open the door and everyone would dash out to go home. Everyone would get excited because it was the end of the day. Everyone except me. As much as I could, I would push and shove my classmates, almost clawing my way to the front of the line, not caring in the least if they got pissed at me, because when the bell rang, I had to start running. I had to escape. A boy in my class who was Cape Verdean from the Cape Verde Isles off the coast of West Africa was Black and Portuguese, and as Black as I was, but he didn't want to be associated with African Americans. A mindset I later learned was very common among Cape Verdeans in Central Falls. More often than not, they self-identified as Portuguese. They would kill you if you called them Black. So my Portuguese classmate and 8 or 9 white boys in my class made it their daily end of school ritual to chase me like dogs hunting prey. When that end of school bell rang, it was off to the races, running literally to save my life. For the gang of boys, it was sadistic fun time. Every day, it was the same madness, the same trauma. Me taking off like Roma Rudolph or Flojo and them tight on my heels. Thank God it was fast. I had to run my ass off down Eben Brown Lane, the route I would take because it was a shortcut to get home, an idyllic road that looked like a scene from the Brady Bunch. At times, the boys would hide behind houses on that street and I would have to duck and dodge and crisscross. I was being hunted. By the time I got home, I was a snot-dripping, crying mess. Every day. Who I was offended them. The memory burrowed itself inside me and metastasized. It didn't help that I was running back to a home where there was no protection. A home that seemed to cement all the horrific things those boys said about me. At the age of 28, I woke up to the burning fact that my journey and everything I was doing with my life was about healing that 8-year-old girl. That little third grader Viola, who I always felt was left defeated, lying prostrate on the ground. I wanted to go back and scream to the 8-year-old me, stop running. I wanted to heal her damage, her isolation. That is, until a therapist a few years ago asked me, why are you trying to heal her? I think she was pretty tough, she survived. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was speechless. What? No poor little chocolate girl from Central Falls? She's a survivor? He leaned forward as if to tell me the biggest secret or to solve the biggest obstacle of my existence. Can you let her hug you? He asked. Can you let her be excited about the 53-year-old she's going to become? Can you allow her to squeal with delight at that? I sat there with my arms crossed. No way. I'm the one who made it out. I had the authority. I looked over at the empty space next to me on the couch and saw my younger self so clearly. She sat there waiting to be embraced, to be acknowledged, to be let in. He leaned toward me, staring at me, tough, stout, insistent, and said, it's the 53-year-old that needs some help. Silence is all I could muster by way of response. That little girl survived, he stated emphatically. I kept my arms crossed, stealing. He leaned back and waited for those arms to uncross. They never did. The final stretch to finding me would be allowing that 8-year-old girl in, actively inviting her into every moment of my current existence to experience the joy she so longed for, letting her taste what it means to feel truly alive. The destination is finding a home for her, a place of peace, where the past does not envelop the Viola of now, where I have ownership of my story.
Yeah. So Viola will be the 20th person to receive the EGOT award tonight if she wins the spoken word Grammy. It's the Oscar, the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the and what? And the Tony. She got 4 out of 5, 3 out of 4. So I'm rooting for Viola tonight. This is a photograph of like cross-country road trip in February 2020. My buddy JB, the gentleman to the right, from Virginia, we did a golfing road trip, and we met up with Bobby and Peter and the family in Palm Springs, and that was taken in Palm Springs, California. And when I get back home, all hell broke loose. Yep. COVID-19 started. All the restaurants around me were closed. But fortunately, we had a drive-up window, and that saved us. Every night was like a Friday and Saturday night. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. I didn't know what to expect, so I laid off 2 of my chefs. So I had to hire those 2 guys back and hire 2 more just to keep up with side work. We're very fortunate. He called me Qigong. You know what I mean? Badass. That's a doodle that George Lopez did for me. And we're at the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Tournament that he has every year. And that's Smokey Robinson. Smokey's being honored tonight too at the Grammy. He's amazing. I saw him down in Florida performing and still got it. Still great. Did you know that Smokey Robinson wrote over 4,000 songs? This is Jason Isaac. Do you remember the movie, the Showtime Brotherhood? Jason, the two brothers, I think Whitey Bulger and his brother. Jason played the bad brother, and I write out on him, say, John, a pleasure to be read out by you, Jason Isaac. The symbol on the bottom represents Federal Hill, and the cross and two dots represent two brothers. They asked me, John, you think you play a Chinese restaurant owner? I think a little bit of a stretch, but I think I can handle it, I told him. This is Harry Allen. He's a great saxophonist from Burrillville. I gave him his first professional gig at Chan when he was like 16 years old. And the Jay Leinhardt, great bassist from New York. She came in with Daryl recently. That was another great show. This is Selwyn Birchwood. He's a wonderful blues artist. Always play with barefoot, never wear shoes on stage. That's Gray Sargent. Gray Sargent is the guitarist for Tony Bennett for 24 years. One night, Gray went home. He had, I guess, a hernia operation. He couldn't pick up his guitar, his amp. And Marshall Wood brought his amp, put it in the trunk, but forgot to put the guitar in his car. So when he got home, he called me. He said, John, please check out in the back pocket. I see my guitar still out there. And sure enough, it was still there. Daryl Sherman. She's here tonight. Hi, Daryl. Yeah. And G. McKenna O'Donnell. Sammy Sherman Band. The Sammy Sherman Band was the very first live band I hired at Chance back in 1977. It was Jeannie McKenna O'Donnell on vocal, Rodney De Los Santos on jazz accordion, Alvin Poley on guitar, Billy Gilbert on drums. Didn't I see anybody else? And Sammy on slide trombone. Yeah. And Sammy, of course, is Daryl's dad. Small world.
We're still wondering why your restaurant didn't burn down.
I had a firewall, I think. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The family used to run the Broster House in Woonsocket for many, many years. The picture on the left is the blues legend James Montgomery. James Montgomery saw in the newspaper that Mose Allison, Maria Modar, and all these great people playing at Chan. So he called his agent and say, hey, book me at this Chinese restaurant in Woonsocket, will you? I want to play there. One on the right, that's Johnny A, guitarist Johnny A, the doodle on the right. I have a doodle book. I have several doodle books that a lot of musicians would doodles for me, after they perform. CPEDS, it's Corey Petrosoro from Cumberland, Rhode Island. Corey holds 3 world titles in accordions, in jazz, in acoustic, and digital. He won his digital title in New Zealand, I believe. And he also played probably 5-6 times for President Clinton, I believe, at the White House. Watermelon Slim. He's from Mississippi. He's anything you want to know about watermelon, ask him. He knows all about watermelon. That's my sister Linda, my brother Bill, and myself. So this is a chow mein sandwich for a centennial of the restaurant. We had a one-day special, chow mein chop suey sandwiches for a quarter, for 25 cents. We have an expert of chow mein sandwiches in the house tonight. Mr. John Ing Wong, professor at Brown University, and his lovely wife Priscilla is here tonight. Yeah. Now, chow mein and chocolate sandwich was back in the old days, the turn of the century, with the mills worker would able to buy something inexpensive, the filling hot, places like Woonsocket and Pawtucket and Central Falls and Fall River, but for 5 cents and 10 cents, it was very satisfying. So we had a special, and they were coming by the busload. Yeah. For our 25th anniversary of the music, we took 2 artists each month, created 25 of these limited edition posters. And night of the show, we had these like baseball card size printed out to pass out as a souvenir. And Hubert Sutherland was the first, #1. You will see in January. Hubert was the great guitarist with Howlin' Wolf. People like Eric Clapton all bow down to this fine gentleman. Kim Wilson, the bald-headed gentleman with the multi-face. Kim was the leader for the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Do you remember Odetta? Odetta was there in December. She was the last of the series. So I got a gold record as a gift from rock legend Jake Isle. Remember the Jake Isle band? Love Stinks. This is the record. We have another live channel recording with Diane Blues. We had probably a good dozen live recording chants. Danny Moretti was there last night, and he did 2 live chant recording. Greg O'Body did one, more than one, probably 3. Greg did. I was in the class of 2018, inducted to the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame with my good friend Mike Renzi and James Montgomery, Paul Murphy. But now Mike Renzi, he is one of the most sought after accompanist in music. Grew up in Providence, went to New York, played with Lena Horne, Mel Torme, Marie McGovern, Liza Minnelli, Peggy Lee, Sinatra, and one of his last gigs was playing with Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. I think this was the Pell Award. I was in the same class with Deborah Messing. I was making a point, I think. 2021, I got hooded by President Siscott of Providence College, got my honorary Doctor of Fine Art degree. Thank you. This is a piece that Providence Journal did of my artwork. I paint, I love painting, watercolor, oil, and pastel. I did that painting of Dizzy on the bottom and Leon Redbone. This is our driver window in the back of the restaurant. We took off the space where Industrial National Bank used to be, and they have a window where you can pick up cash that now you can pick up Chinese food. And they left us the vault. Instead of money in there, we keep our precious fortune cookie in the vault now. This is a wonderful picture that Michael Balit took and Photoshop all the signage from the front of the restaurant. But before we end today, I want to say that back in 1977, that's when we first started the music, and Rebecca Parrish did the first live chance recording. Rebecca's album's right there, and we were in the old dining room where the buffet tables now. That's where the stage was. And then in 1986, that's when we opened the Four Seasons Banquet Room, which is a larger space where we can book bigger acts to come in. It holds 125 people. It's a very intimate space where, you know, the energy, the vibes, and the acoustic all in perfect harmony. And people would, stranger would come up to me and thank me, and I'm very appreciative of the of what I'm doing, and really heartwarming. It's also mentioned that the vision for Chan's legacy. I want to hopefully create Chan Center for the Arts by having visual arts, performing arts, and culinary art all under one roof. Hopefully, this will be a student-run operation under the direction and the collaboration of various colleges and University of Higher Learning, where they can invite celebrity chefs, professional musician, film director, actor to give master classes and workshop. And I believe this is a win-win situation for the community, for the student, and for the arts. This will also help Woonsocket being one of the lowest income per capita in the state. The area student would acquire the skill to get a better paying job. It is my hope to find a buyer with a similar vision to keep the music alive and the musician, the artist working. And in closing, I'm blessed with a wonderful life. It's extremely grateful with no regrets. I have many good friends, wonderful family, and an incredible career. And thank you all for coming. Let's see our John Chan for some popular favorite chow mein sandwiches, of course, Eggroll and all that jazz performance by the Good Living Band and some special guests too. So thank you for coming very much. I think Ron Miller have like 20 questions for me. Ron Miller, no? Hi.
I know you grew up in Hong Kong.
Yep.
Your dad, but where was your dad actually born?
My dad, he was born in Canton, China.
Canton.
Yes.
And how long he stayed here?
He came over when he was 12 and went back when in 1946 and stayed in Hong Kong for.
Did you ever visit?
Mainland? No, I have not been to mainland, no.
Did you visit?
Well, when I retire, I will. I'll go. Yeah. Also want to acknowledge the president of the Rhode Island Historic Society. Morgan Graff and her husband, Gage.
John,
Yes, sir.
have you ever played any instrument or you love jazz and blues, but
Not in this caliber, but someday after I retire, I'm going to take up piano and guitar and saxophone. Maybe take a few voice lessons. I'm going to sing Slow Boat China. We're going to do a duet with Daryl.
John, what was the defining moment when you wanted to have both a restaurant and jazz?
It was back in my college days, actually. My roommates, Joe Small and Edward King, with disc jockey for WDOM, the Providence College radio station. They bring home a lot of new releases. And I got hooked on the album called The Blue Summit by Duke Ellington. And got into jazz, rhythm and blues, some soul music at that time. And it's a place in Providence, across from the Providence Journal, called Joe's Upstairs, where I saw a young Scott Hamilton, Freddie Bates, and the band called the Blue Flame performing some of that jump blues music. I said, this might work at the House of Chance. So I got my father's blessing, and so that's how we got started back in 1977.
Good decision.
Thank you.
Can I just
Been a
say
good
that?
run.
I remember we were playing at the Ice House in Gladstone.
Yeah.
Sammy's band that you mentioned, and you came in as a young college kid
Yeah.
and said, it was a shower or something in the afternoon and asked Sammy, we all looked a little apprehensive about it, but.
It worked.
We were just in front of the ladies' room or whatever. I don't know how you fit us all in, but it was fun and it simply started so.
Right. Back in 1977. Yeah. Yes, back there, Denise.
And there's a lot of meetings throughout your restaurant. Who's the artist?
Do you remember Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen? Well, George Frayne have an MFA from Michigan and did a lot of the large portraits of musicians throughout the restaurant. And also Scott Hamilton, the great saxophonist, his father, Robert Hamilton, taught at Ryan School of Design for 35 years. And I have, I think, 5 Hamilton paintings in there as well.
So History Channel did a great piece on how Chinese food America changed. How different would the menu have been 118 years ago?
Good question. Good question. Back in 1905, the popular dishes was chow mein, chop suey, and fried rice. And then they added fried bone chicken with brown gravy. And we used to serve it with French fry, coleslaw, and bread, and French bread. That was the staple. But Chinese food was somewhat exotic at those days. But they knew what a sandwich was, and that's how the chow mein and chop suey sandwiches came about. And today, what they call foodies, into more of a different style of cooking, more of a fusion, maybe a lighter fare. So it's always evolving. But I love to eat, so it's all in the preparation. Yep. Anyone else?
I have a question for you. Besides Daryl Sherman and Jean here, who performed so many times at your place, if you had one night to pick, and you said,
boy.
like, that was like the most amazing night of music at Chan's.
There were so many. There were so many magical moments. Magical nights that was historic. It's just that the energy, the chemistry in the room. It's just. Almost every weekend we have great music, and so it's hard to pick just one. I think probably Dizzy Gillespie was one of the finest hour we had at Chance. This is one of my favorite.
It's a wonderful